her that she could take a day off. Actually, another day in a long line of days off. As the maid of honor, Ariel could hardly refuse Violet, who was so excited about her upcoming nuptials. Lance Wells, the groom-to-be, had planned all sorts of wedding events over the past week. First, it had been whale watching, next, an escape room adventure, then line dancing, and now hiking on unmarked trails. Lance had insisted on this excursion, and Violet seemed to want to do anything that Lance said, because she was in love. Ariel didn't like the sour grapes twisting in her chest. At 29, she kind of despaired she'd ever find her Mr. Right. She wasn't looking, mind you. Love seemed like a risky endeavor, especially after the fiasco of her last boyfriend, Jason, a mistake she truly regretted. He'd seemed so sweet and kind at first, but then she'd realized it was a facade. She didn't care for the man he really was, and had broken off their relationship. But still, she liked the idea of a grand romance. Up ahead, Violet crested the rise and disappeared. With a grunt of frustration, Ariel stepped up her pace. She was honest enough with herself to realize she was a tad bit jealous and sad because she was losing another friend to marriage. Violet and Lance's wedding would be the 5th one that Ariel had been involved in over the past year and a half. What was it about nearing 30 that made people decide it was time to marry? But Ariel really was happy for Violet. She was her best friend. And this was the first time she had been asked to be the maid of honor. However, Ariel couldn't banish the deep sense of unease niggling at the back of her mind. There was nothing specific that had her on edge lately, just this strange sensation that something dark lurked, waiting to strike. Giving herself a mental head slap for her silly imagination, she crested the rise onto an outcrop that ran along the mountainside. As her boots crunched over the rocks beneath the layer of hard-packed snow, she noticed her hiking mates were already starting up the next incline, and that she'd lost sight of Violet among the thick forest. Uh-oh. The altitude pulled at Ariel's lungs. Her breath came out in ragged puffs. Shielding her eyes from the overcast sky, she contemplated the next mountain. Really? They were going to hike up that now? Making a face, she turned to look out over the vista, needing a moment before she hurried after her friends. From this vantage point, she could see the majestic Denali Mountain, the tallest in North America, and the sprawling city that was Anchorage, the place she called home. Movement in the sky caught her attention. A bald eagle soared, its wings spread. The white tail and head were so bright in contrast to the bird's dark body. Though Alaska was home to the bald eagle, Ariel never tired of them. Seeing the majestic bird reminded her of the verse in Isaiah that said, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." She scrambled to lift her camera to take pictures. The eagle dipped lower. Ariel hurried along the outcrop to the very edge where it narrowed, snapping off images as the bird dipped, clearly looking for dinner. The loud bang of a gun echoed across the valley. Startled, Ariel shivered, but chalked the noise up to hunters. She deplored that the state park allowed the hunting of one black bear per hunter from September through May. Refocusing on the eagle, Ariel continued to take snapshots as the bird dove below the tree line and out of sight. Staring down the side of the cliff made her dizzy. It was a long drop to the bottom, with many trees and rocks dotting the landscape and jutting out of the side of the steep cliff. A moment later, the eagle swooped toward the sky with a hair dangling in its mouth. The bird turned in a big arc and headed right toward Ariel. Her heart stalled in her chest. These were going to be fabulous photos. From behind her, the rush of footsteps made her wince. No doubt Violet coming to retrieve her wayward maid of honor. As the eagle flew overhead, a hand on Ariel's back shoved her forward.